So, with the kind of work I do, a lot of my clients are men, and I've noticed that most men tend to deal with the exact same issue. They usually end up with a woman who's disrespectful, a woman who may be unfaithful, or a woman who's financially using them. Now, if this sounds like the kind of problem you keep facing, and if this seems to be a repeated pattern with the women you date, you always end up getting cheated on, you always end up getting used, you always end up being disrespected, then I'm going to explain why this keeps happening to you and also how to stop this pattern from repeating itself. So stay tuned. Now, the truth is, a lot of men will say, she lied to me in the beginning. She was so good at first. She lied to me, she lied to me, she lied to me. Women almost never lie. They really don't. They may not directly tell you the truth, but they will always show you the truth. Every woman you've been with who hurt you, used you, cheated on you, stole from you, whatever the case may be, she showed you her red flags from day one. You simply chose to ignore them. You chose to overlook them. This is what women tend to do. They meet a man and they reveal their red flags in subtle ways, not always obvious ways. Maybe she shows it through how she dresses. Maybe she presents herself in a very provocative way. Maybe she shows it through how she speaks about her ex. She might say, "Oh, he was toxic," or "I'm still in love with him," or whatever it may be. She reveals pieces of her character. Maybe she shows it through how she behaves as a parent. She may not prioritize her children, or maybe she denied another man access to his kids. And now you think you're going to come in as Captain Stepdad and save the day. But the reality is, she already showed you that when she dislikes a man, she's willing to deny him access to the children. And somehow you think you'll be immune to that behavior. It doesn't work like that. So these women always, and myself included, show men all of our red flags. The difference is we choose the man who allows us to get away with the most nonsense. Now, if a woman doesn't have many red flags, what usually happens is she attracts a man with strong boundaries. A man with boundaries can only really stay with a woman who doesn't carry a lot of red flags, because they naturally match each other. She doesn't do too much, and he doesn't tolerate too much. It works well. But a woman full of red flags will always choose a man with low self-esteem. She'll find the man who doesn't know how to enforce his boundaries, doesn't know how to recognize red flags, and doesn't know how to stand up for himself. That's the man she's going to select. So if you're a man with very low self-esteem and you value the connection more than the respect she gives you, you're going to constantly find yourself manipulated, cheated on, and disrespected by women. Now, here's how women first identify a man with low self-esteem. One of the main signs is that he becomes overly impressed by her beauty. When a man is too mesmerized by a woman's physical appearance, she immediately gains power over him. The most beautiful woman in the world will line up for a man who isn't even that attractive if he's not overly impressed by her looks. But even a woman who isn't that attractive will start pushing boundaries and becoming disrespectful with a man who is completely in awe of her beauty, because she sees that as leverage. So when you're with a woman and you don't have much experience with beautiful women or being around women in general, women pick up on that very quickly. They sense it immediately. And once they realize that, they understand they can push your boundaries. They realize they may be able to disrespect you, maybe even cheat on you, and you're still not going anywhere because she knows you don't think you can do any better looks-wise. That's how women recognize a man with low self-esteem. But when a woman notices that yes, he finds her attractive, yes, he thinks she's beautiful, but her looks aren't the foundation holding the relationship together, meaning he's not going to stay with her based purely on appearance, then she starts respecting him more. She realizes she has to offer more than just beauty and sex in order to keep that man. But when she discovers that her appearance is the only thing he truly values, then after every argument, every act of disrespect, every issue, she knows she can simply use her beauty to get back into his good graces. And for her, it becomes easy work. She barely has to try. Now, another huge sign that you have low self-esteem is that you don't set boundaries. What I mean by that is she does something disrespectful, you recognize it as disrespectful, but you're too afraid to speak up about it. So you stay quiet because you want to keep the peace. Men who focus on keeping peace at the cost of keeping respect will always lose that woman. And I'm not saying you should scream at her or argue aggressively when she does something wrong. That's not what I'm suggesting at all. What I'm saying is you need to calmly make it known that this behavior is something you're not comfortable with. You communicate that clearly. Now, if she keeps crossing that boundary after you've already communicated it multiple times, you don't continue repeating yourself endlessly. Instead, you remove yourself. Rather than begging her to understand you or forcing her to respect you, you simply respect yourself enough to walk away. And if she sees that you can't respect yourself enough to leave, then you've already lost her. She knows you're not going anywhere. At that point, she'll stop respecting you completely. And every